I was kind of humiliated and embarrassed.
I felt like it was a racial thing, and I felt like he was singled out.
Only on 9, claims of racial discrimination at a Chick-fil-A. A Clover police officer said that he had to pay for his meal, but that his 3 white colleagues did not.
Their claims did garner an apology from the owner of the Augusta restaurant where this happened. Our South Carolina reporter Tina Terry spoke to officers about their experience.
I was kind of humiliated and embarrassed, at the whole situation, because it seemed like it was a racial issue to me.
Clover Police Sergeant Tracy Reed had that experience at a Chick-fil-A restaurant in Augusta, Georgia, while on a work trip a few weeks ago. He and 3 other CPD officers, all of them white, went into the restaurant for breakfast.
We all came into the restaurant together, we rode together, came in the restaurant together, all had the same uniform on, stood in line together. There was never a time that we were not together while standing in line.
They say all 3 white officers were offered a complimentary meal, which they say is often offered to law enforcement at the popular restaurant chain. But when Sergeant Reed got to the register, he had to pay.
He said he had to pay for his meal, and it infuriated me. And I told him, I said, "You want me to go say something?" And he's like, "No, I don't want you to cause a scene." But I could tell by the way he looked that, he just looked down at his plate and he looked really embarrassed and humiliated, which really made me mad.
Eventually, Reed wrote this letter to Chick-fil-A corporate demanding the chain retrain employees at the Augusta location and strengthen corporate-wide policies on compliance with civil rights laws. But Reed and the other officers were not satisfied with the response from the Augusta store manager, which included 2 cards for free meals.
They said that it was perceived that we were embarrassed or that it was a racial incident, which I didn't like, because I know it wasn't perceived. It actually happened.
He's not the only one to perceive it. We all perceived it that way, and it's not even a perception. It's what happened. It was a racial issue.
That letter from the store manager included an apology, and it also stated that the person who processed the meal was a team leader who doesn't normally work behind the register. The manager called this incident a mistake.
A story that was shared with me by a dear friend who shared with me about a revival that was taking place at a church in Texas. And at that revival, on the front seat was an older African American man that was sitting there. And this young man got up that was there in that service, and he'd been so gripped with conviction about the racism that was in that local community in a small town in Texas, that he took a shoe brush and he walked over to this elderly gentleman and he knelt on his knees and began to shine his shoes. And tears began to flow in that service. It was an attitude of conviction. So I invite folks to put some words to action here. And if we need to find somebody that needs to have their shoe shine, we need to just go right on over and shine their shoes. And whether they got tennis shoes on or not, maybe they got sandals on, it really doesn't matter. But there's a time in which we need to have, some personal action here. Maybe we need to give them a hug too, brother.
And some stock in Chick-fil-A.
But I bought about 1,500 of these, and I gave to all our Chick-fil-A operators and staff a number of years ago. And so any expressions of a contrite heart, of a sense of humility, a sense of shame, a sense of embarrassment, beget with an apologetic heart, I think